Good morning, gang, and thanks for joining us on another YouTube video, and to all of those you have supported the channel. And hey, we hit 10,000 subscribers. Good job. So a question today from one of our clients. He asks, and it is Levi. Thanks, Levi, for the question. He asks, what are your thoughts on a dirty bulk? This is a good topic. Well, let's first get into what is the definition of a dirty bulk, and I will share with you what my opinions are with regards to that. So what a dirty bulk is, not having much consideration or concern for the types and quality of food that you're eating, and your goal is just to consume basically as much as you can in an effort to gain weight, preferably muscle, in the term of bodybuilding and fitness. Now, what are my thoughts on that? From a health standpoint, garbage. Not having a concern for the type and quantity and quality of food that you eat is obviously going to potentially have implications on health markers. Obviously, the higher in the saturated fats, elevated cholesterol levels, what have you. Not a good idea from a health perspective just to eat ad nauseum whatever it is that you like. The second component to that is the addition of body weight does not necessarily correlate with the quantity and quality of muscle that you're gaining. You may gain fractional amounts more of muscle by just throwing as many calories at yourself as you can, but it's going to come at the cost of additional body fat, which is going to have negative implications on your health and your heart, because your body's carrying an excess load. And from an aesthetic standpoint, you're going to look kind of garbage. Who wants to be fatter than they already are in order to gain an extra little tiny bit of muscle in which you're going to have to do a ton of work extra in comparison to get that weight off? You're going to put yourself into a deficit. And I'd be willing to guarantee that in most cases, being in that deficit is going to cost you whatever muscle you may have gained that came from the bulk. Now, is there a time and place for a dirty bulk? I would say marginally, rarely, and if so, for a very short period of time. If I had a client that was just a metabolic inferno, and what I mean by that is we throw everything but the kitchen sink at this guy and the scale just won't budge. It is a slow process. So let's keep in mind that gaining muscle is not anywhere near what it is to losing fat. And losing fat, where you can lose a pound or two, and in some cases a little bit more, gaining muscle is not going to come at that rate, or all of us are going to be walking around looking like Mr. or Miss Olympia. Just not going to happen. Gains do come a little bit more quickly for a new gainer, a new trainee, the newbie gains as they call them, come a little bit quicker because your body isn't accustomed to the stimulus of training. So that adaptive stress response that comes from training will be much more elevated than an experienced lifter whose body is starting to become adapted to the stress. So what you'll find is your gains at the beginning when you first start training come fast and furious, or a little bit faster. They're not fast by any means, but faster. And then they typically will slow down. It's not unheard of to only be able to gain a handful of pounds of muscle in a year. And that's from training hard, watching your nutrition, having adequate amount of protein in your diet, consuming enough fluids, getting enough rest so you're recovering from the stress. Guys, I can't underestimate, it's too early for this shit. I can't underemphasize the importance of recovery. The gym is the stimulus. The recovery, rest, and sleep are the catalyst. That is what's going to drive the muscular response. Having additional food coming in puts stress on our GI system. So your body's going to say, what the heck? And in some cases, most cases, you're just going to get fat. It's not called bulking for a reason. So the only person that I would consider that with, and again for a short period of time, is somebody who is an extreme hard gainer. They will be your ectomorph. They will be your guy that you can put your fingers around their biceps and shoulders and run it all the way down to their wrist. That type of guy. And again, only for a short period of time. If you can gain a handful of muscle in a year, and I'm talking about 4, 5, 6 pounds, that's a tremendous amount. Think about when you go to the grocery store and buy a steak or something like that. Nobody's affording steak these days. Who are we kidding? But still, look at how much meat is there. Now, if you were to slap those onto your body, that is a massive transformation, especially if the gain is a fairly lean gain and you're not getting a ton of fat along with it. The focus, in my opinion, should always be lean muscle gain in order to improve your body composition. So you want your body fat composition to come down, your lean muscle tissue to go up. Now, how do we accomplish that? Typically, for most of us, the increase in calories is going to be marginally higher than your maintenance level. What I would suggest you do, attempt to ascertain what your maintenance level is, because how do you know otherwise? Go online. I'm going to put the info right on the screen, probably somewhere around here or here or here. TDEEcalculator.net. It's a very valuable tool. There's a million of them out there, but that's a very common one. You punch in your height, your weight, your estimated activity level, and it's going to give you a guess. Just a guess. It's not, don't hold it to science or anything like that, of what your caloric level is. Now, in order to utilize that number, you're going to have an activity tracker, a calorie tracker, to determine how many calories you are consuming, with the emphasis being on adequate amounts of protein and hitting that protein target and hitting that calorie target consistently. Now, over the course of time, you have to be patient with it because this is a very slow grind. The scale should incrementally, over a period of time, it's not going to go up every single day, guys. It's not a linear graph. There's going to be ups and downs and fluctuations with water levels, glycogen storage in the muscles, all these other factors that are going to influence your body weight at any given time. But the average over the week, over a longer period of time, should show your graph of your weight. And again, a lot of these apps and stuff like that track your body weight will show you a graph, may even show you a weekly average. Slight increase, slight, guys. Even if it's a pound a month, that's a quarter of a pound a week. That's considerable amount. A pound is 454 grams. A quarter of that pound is what, 122 grams a week. It's not a lot. So do you really think that you need thousands of extra calories over the week in order to gain a fractional amount of muscle? No, you do not. But you do need to know where your maintenance is, because if you're eating below maintenance by too much, you're not going to grow. You've had the contractors stop by with the building materials for your new house that you're building, but they didn't leave you any bricks. Need some bricks to build the house? No. Now, what if the contractors came by and left you 10 times the amount of bricks that you needed? You'd be saying, what the hell am I what am I doing with all these bricks? Where am I going to put them? You're going to put them on your ass, on your stomach, and on your hips, and in your love handles, and all the places that you don't want to go. And your house, your body, metaphor, if you haven't followed it, is going to look like crap. That's just how it works. Not enough, not good. Too much, also not good. Sweet spot in between. It's going to be maybe 5%, maybe 10% above your maintenance level that you need. You want the bricks, just enough of them to build, right? Anything more than that, and you're just going to get fat. So you need to know what that level is. You have to hit it consistently. It can't be you're eyeballing your shit, because nobody's got the laser eyes. And when it comes to calorie counting, even that can nowhere near be an exact science. There's no two eggs in the carton that are the same, yet they show all the same calories. Same thing with every food that we have. Same thing with every bit of produce and meat. You don't know 100%. It's going to be off. But again, it's a best guess. And if it's consistent over time, you're going to be able to drive a result. And that's why we track our food. That's why we weigh our food. If you're over by hundreds of calories and you don't know, you're going to be left scratching your head, because the weight will be going up. And maybe you'll think, ooh, look at all this muscle that I'm putting on. Bullshit. You're gaining fat. It would be very advisable to take photographs of yourself as well. Front, back, side. And if you don't have a subjective eye, get a coach, enlist somebody that knows their shit, that can look at physiques properly and determine whether they feel that over a period of time, I'm not talking necessarily about week to week, you may not notice that so much, but over a period of time, you should see some changes that are preferably what we're looking for. You start to get pudgy and soft and all full and bloated, and you can't digest your food, and you're farting every 2 minutes, there's a good chance you're not doing something right. You need to reassess. Don't do the same thing over and over and over again. Think that you're doing something right and just repeat it. Or worse, do the same thing over and over again and you don't even know what the hell it is that you're doing, because there's no blueprint in place. There's no tracking. There's no gauge to assess progress. You have to have a gauge in which to assess progress in order to determine whether the shit that you're doing is actually working or not. And you also have to know what it is, the shit that you're doing. So when you ask people, how much protein are you consuming? A lot. How much water are you drinking? A lot. I drink, a lot. What the hell does that mean? How many calories are you taking in? Maybe 3,000, but if they were actually going to check, what if the 3,000 was 4,000? Then you're just getting fat. See the people all the time in the gym, grinding it out. They're doing their thing. And they're not looking any different. If anything, they're looking the same, or even worse, they're looking worse. You don't need that. Dirty bulk, no thanks. Figure out your maintenance calories. Determine where that baseline is. If you're not gaining much or you're not losing much over a period of time, it should stay stable. That is your baseline in relation to the amount of activity that you're doing. So if your activity is fairly consistent, you're typically walking whatever number of steps per day. You have to know what the hell that is. Again, get a step tracker. Every phone's got one built into it pretty much nowadays. And Lord knows that we don't leave anywhere without our phone taped, strapped to our face. So the phone knows what the hell you're doing. You just have to look. Take an average. Okay, I'm doing roughly 10,000 steps per day. Okay, I'm going to the gym roughly 5 times. I know that I'm eating roughly 2,500 calories a day. Is my weight trending up over time? Is it staying horizontal, flat-lined over time? Is it dipping over time? That's going to determine, hey, deficit, maintenance, getting fat. Based on that, we adjust our calories by small increments. If it's going up, don't chop your calories in half, guys. Your body does not want to go into some state of alarm and start doing wonky shit. The people that are eating 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day, how do you think your body regulates energy sources? How does it do that? Your thyroid, it's like a thermostat for your energy. Your thyroid output will decrease and slow down to accommodate for the fact that you're treating it like shit. It will speed up if you start consuming a little bit more food. It'll say, okay, I need to do something with that, but it's only going to do that for a short period of time before it says, I can't handle this anymore, and start storing it as fat. So you want to be slightly above maintenance. And when you go into a deficit, you want to be slightly in a deficit. I'm talking, again, maybe 5-10%. So if you're 2,000 calorie maintenance and you want to be in a deficit, drop it down to 1,800. See what that does. It starts dipping too low, or you feel you want to gnaw your shoulder off to get to your next meal, then chances are that deficit is too great. So you've got some choices here. You can add a little bit of food back in to make up for that steep deficit, or you can reduce the amount of activity that you're doing. Couple options. Do you want more food, more activity, less activity? Either one will accomplish the same goal. It's about amount of calories in or energy input versus energy output, how much you're expending. So I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share, ask questions. I'm here for you. Over 40 years of experience in the fitness industry. If you want coaching, throw the link down below as well, GAZEYFITNESS.com. Mention the video. We'll throw a little discount your way. Everyone's happy. All right, cheers. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.